not special.
Ladies and gentlemen, it happened. Now I would sit here and claim to be some sort of fortune teller or psychic, but I think anybody who knows anything about the situation we're going to be talking about today knew exactly what was going to happen from day one. It's not exactly a surprise. That's right, boys and girls, the title is not clickbait. Chef Pie, aka the pink sauce lady, has gone broke. Now I'm not one to prey on my fellow man's downfall, but I think we all saw this one coming. If you haven't heard yet, recently Chef Pie has started a GoFundMe for $100,000 with a hilarious title of Help Get Justice for the Pink Sauce. Now, if this is your first day on the internet and you have no idea what the pink sauce is, well, I'll give you a very quick, very brief rundown. Basically, about a year ago, this lady right here, Chef Pie, made a mysterious pink sauce that blew up on the internet. Everybody and their mother was trying it and reviewing it, and it became very clear very quickly that this sauce maybe was not made correctly. People were apparently getting sent to the hospital over it. It was spoiling during transport. The nutrition label was wildly inaccurate, with the creator using angel numbers on it. No two bottles were the same color. People found out it went through no food safety testing. It was just a giant mess that eventually turned into one dunking on session of this woman for making this sauce. Now, if you hadn't heard this story prior, you'd probably think at this point is where she would stop making this sauce and go back to doing whatever she was doing before, right? Well, that's not what happened. She somehow got this like weird niche following and fan base. A bunch of people started to support her, saying that all her haters were just people trying to shut down a small business. And she went from being the internet's laughingstock to having her sauce in Walmart a few months later. How this happened, I don't have the slightest clue. But for most people, myself included, I think that's where we thought the story would end. She'd become one of the dozens of sauces on the Walmart shelves, and poor unsuspecting customers would buy her pink sauce. However, on August 16th, 2023, humanity has learned of its greatest injustice yet. She posted her GoFundMe and it reads like this. Hi, my name is Veronica Shaw. I am founder of the Pink Sauce LLC, one of the most viral sauce sensations of 2022. Really begs the question, how many viral sauce sensations were there? As a young entrepreneur with big dreams, I followed my intuition and I went forth toward my dreams to create something new. I made a few mistakes on the way, like poisoning people, which led me to trust a company that is trying to take everything away from me. They lied to me, they are not paying me, and are not being transparent about records. I've tried on multiple occasions to try and come to one accord with them, but they refuse to reimburse me for marketing expenses that I spent my own funds towards. I've been silenced and financially sabotaged. I'm a single mom and I do everything for my kids. Right now, I don't even have enough money to buy my kids food on my own. My mom is on disability and has been giving us $20 just to get by on a daily basis. Sorry to interrupt August from the future here, but it's the next day and I'm editing this video, and I was going through her TikTok to find some more background footage, and I found this video where she talks about her mother dying when she was 1 month old. So I have no idea what to believe here. This makes this seem even more like nothing but a fake sob story, so keep that in mind. School is a few days away and I haven't even been able to get the kids clothes or anything. I'm currently facing an eviction that has gone into default. The sheriffs can come to my door any day now. I need legal help. They are refusing to pay me the royalty that is owed to me. I don't know what else to do. I can't give up. I need help. So this is the situation. A few months ago, Chef Pie partnered with a company called Dave's Gourmet, which is like a sauce manufacturing company. And from what I can tell, they are now the sole distributor of the sauce. And Chef Pie gets royalties from any of the sales. Now, according to Miss Pie, it seems like she's saying that she's not getting any of the royalties that she is entitled to, which, if true, is obviously not cool. However, it doesn't really seem like that's the case. Now, I'm going to be jumping around a bit here, article to article, because there's a lot of good information, but it seems to be pretty spread out between websites. Now, nothing I say in this video should be taken as fact because, well, this is a YouTube video about poorly made pink ranch, and in turn, so are all the articles. So believe it or not all of these articles are being academically reviewed. So if you ask me to show you where these people got all this information, don't. All of this is to say I am simply just a messenger of the information that's out there, but it all seems to kind of corroborate, so that's good enough for me. Now, starting off with this Yahoo News article, which talks about how Dave's Gourmet has said that they have paid Chef Pie, which is something I'm going to talk about here in a minute, but something I found very interesting on this article that I didn't see anywhere else is that it says at the bottom, the partnership between Dave's Gourmet and Shaw was initially set to run through this past July. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that seems like some super convenient timing for a person who has proved in the past that they maybe don't practice the best best business practices, to decide that after their partnership has expired, they didn't really like the terms they agreed to, and in order to try to get something out of that, they go on the internet and try and say that they did something shady. Now, that is pure speculation. I genuinely have zero facts to back that up, if I'm being honest, but it just seems a little too strange of timing, and you see people do stuff like this often. They join into a partnership, they don't really read the agreement, they get into it, they don't like it, they can't do anything, but once they're out of it, they want some revenge. Now, is this what's going on? Who knows, but I think it's possible because Dave's Gourmet does not seem to agree that this is how everything went down. They released a statement that says, Dave's Gourmet has adhered to the terms of the agreement with Miss Shaw. We disagree with Miss Shaw's allegations. Dave's Gourmet has paid Chef Pie over $120,000 to date, and it continues to make all payments as due and on time based upon the terms of the contract. We've offered to reimburse Miss Shaw for her lawyer's time to go over the terms of the agreement and how it relates to the payments that were made to Miss Shaw. She's indicated that she's open to an amicable resolution of the dispute and the parties are in discussions. Now, to me, it sounds like a few possible things might be going on here. When it comes to any kind of business, unless the owner is just genuinely an idiot, doing something like this is absolutely insane. I find it very hard to believe that an established business would decide to just stop paying royalties to a person because they didn't want to. So me personally, just in my opinion, I don't think that Dave's Gourmet has just decided to stop paying Chef Pie for no reason. I think there's one of like 2 or 3 things happening. The first of my theories, which I think is the most likely, is that in the contract there is some sort of clause for a minimum payment, saying that there has to be a minimum amount of royalties earned in a pay period for there to be anything paid out. This is very, very, very common. For example, when you make ad revenue from YouTube, every month you have to hit a certain minimum before YouTube pays you. If you don't hit that minimum in the month, it rolls over to the next until you build up to that minimum and then you get paid out. And I think that this is probably the case with what's going on here. Chef Pie is probably not getting paid any royalties because there's nothing to pay yet. She probably hasn't hit that minimum, which leads me to my next point. I don't think anybody's really buying this stuff. It's hard to make royalties if nobody's buying your product. I think Dave's Gourmet foolishly dove into this thinking it would be a success because of how popular it was on TikTok, not knowing that even the biggest trends on TikTok and the internet in general really have a life expectancy of about 2 days. They did this big partnership, they got it into stores, the hype was still kind of there, and the people who wanted to still try it went and tried it. They realized it wasn't good, and now nobody wants to buy it. I've seen pink sauce in Walmart before, just once because I absolutely hate Walmart and will never go willingly, but I was out of town and kind of forced to. I saw it on the shelves and it was there. A lot of it was there. I'm not kidding, there was like 80 bottles, it was fully stocked, not a single one had been taken, and it was all discounted by like 30%. Nobody wants this stuff. When you can't sell a product, you're not gonna get any royalties. So I think that's what's likely happening here. Either that, or it's just not selling near as much as she expected, so she thinks they're holding out on her, but in reality, there's just nothing to hold out on. And I mean, is anybody surprised? If I was a food distribution service, I would not touch this sauce with a 700-foot pole. Of course, there's the saying there's no such thing as bad publicity, but I would argue that if your food goes viral for being gross, poorly made, and unsafe to eat, that's an exception to that rule. Nobody wants to eat Pepto-Bismol colored diarrhea simulator, and I'm surprised that nobody at Dave's Gourmet brought this up. As of right now, the GoFundMe is not doing superb. As of recording this, it's raised $1,043 out of $100,000, and majority of the donations are people just using this as a vessel to make fun of this woman. And I mean, I'm not saying she deserves it, her kids especially don't deserve to be in this situation, but I mean, everybody saw this coming. I mean, like a month ago, she was bragging about selling 200,000 bottles of pink sauce on TikTok, and Dave's Gourmet said they paid out $120,000 over like, what, 6 months? If you spend that kind of money in 6 months and go broke and can't even feed your kids, then I don't think any amount of royalties would have saved you. This sounds like poor financial management and poor business practice, which I mean is not exactly shocking given the context that not too long ago this woman was selling the sauce for $20 and having it spoil while being shipped. This never had the potential of anything but a short-lived gimmick, and now the people who bought into this product are having to learn that the hard way. I'm no food distributor, but quick business tip: if everybody on the internet is talking about how gross a product is and how nobody wants to buy it, and the only reason it's famous famous is for its grossness and incompetence of its creator, maybe don't put that bad boy on your product line. Just my 2 cents. Well guys, what are your thoughts on all this? What do you think's really going on? I truly believe it's just the minimum payout thing and it not meeting the threshold because nobody's buying this. That I'm almost certain of. I think Chef Pie fell into the classic trap of lifestyle creep. I think she started to live above her means based off a few checks, and now that the royalties aren't coming in anymore, there's nowhere for her to go. So let this be a lesson to any of you aspiring entrepreneurs out there. Self-employment's great, but at the end of the day, it's self-employment. You've got nobody to bail yourself out but you. So invest all you can, and then invest a little bit more. I promise you, nobody's ever made it to their 40s, 50s, or 60s and thought, you know what, man, I really wish I invested less over the years. And I can promise you the people who never get to retire are thinking the opposite. Best time to plant a tree. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
Subscribe.